finna go get my gun. Now I'm back, I got him posted. The resolution is, I'm about to squeeze this trigger. He didn't talk about my hairline. He talked about my child. I'm about to shoot this man. I'm about to take his life. A resolution is something serious enough that's going to make me say, no, I'm going to let you live. I'm going to let you live. It has to be that serious.
What's that serious?
I know.
What's that serious? Good question. That serious for me is thinking about, you know what? Morris, your daughter's a sophomore now.
Kill him, you will never see her.
If I kill him, I won't see her become the great actress, thank you, sir, that she is trying to become.
Yes, because when I talk to some of my students, when I talk to some of my students about the same exercise that you're doing now, we did. And one of my fellows said that when he gets real angry, he thinks of his mother.
He thinks of his mother.
He hears his mother's voice.
Exactly. So a lot of these things, again, you're going to be able to transfer over to this column. I'm going to think about my child. I'm going to think about my 8-year-old. That's my 19-year-old. I'm going to think about my 8-year-old. When he starts, I'm not going to see him start playing tackle football next year if I take this man's life. Right? So the resolution, the key with the resolution is, it got to be something realistic. And for God's sakes, it got to be something that's going to work. Because if it don't work, you are going to take somebody's life, you're going to hurt somebody, or guess what? They're going to hurt you. Because guess what? You ain't the only person with triggers. You're not the only one. They have to understand they're not the only one with triggers. So this is just not for them to stop them from hurting someone. This is for your safety. This is for your safety too. All right? So I'm giving you this power. So you don't end up taking someone's life or throwing your life away for the rest of it. Yes?
So in your model, going off what you say, and would you say children are more emotional than angry?
I think we're all emotional.
Yeah, but in their sense, most children, because I do agree children are angry, but I think children are more emotional.
They are.
So much angry.
They are. But I believe that they are so emotional is because they got these barriers. They got so many violators. Every place they go, the parents don't understand. They beefing with them. The police is taking them to jail. They feel unfairly. Teacher don't listen to them at school. Mama telling me you ain't going to be nothing or be something just like your daddy. And the daddy ain't home. And can't even go out on the block. I can't even go to a different neighborhood because no reason. But I just can't go. You know, that's why. Yes, ma'am.
I think a lot of other emotions are shown through anger.
That's right.
Anger is the only, so they are really emotional.
Yeah, but if you look at the state, let's put it like this. If you look at the state of emotional men in schools, elementary and high school, it's not so much anger, it's emotion. The first thing they do is cry.
Anger is
not
emotion.
Anger is emotion. It is an emotion, but the way they convey it is not necessarily anger. Like I said, I mean, it's not necessarily like they're just angry walking around angry.
What would you do in a more extreme
case?
case?
Emotional. Now, when it comes to extreme, like that's when the anger really shows out all the time. That's when the acting out occurs. But for most of the part, it's just emotion. Most of them break down and cry in a heartbeat. And that's just being real.
Right.
As soon as you get them alone in the office, the first thing they do is sit in that chair, you know, and it's game on.
I agree. The thing about the anger is that I want them to know that it's a controllable emotion. You know? And here's where I guess I can tell you the story where I tie in my life experience, right? In this particular piece. It's kind of just befitting because of your question. You don't have to use your personal experience. I use my personal experience because I want them to know about me. I'm a martial artist. I'm a black belt. I had to take my test 3 times. The reason why it took me 3 times was because when you test for your belt, you have to do the regular, the kata, the movements by yourself, and then you also have to do sparring at that level. Well, I did great on the kata.
I bet you did.
But when, yes, but when I went to start sparring, quite frankly, I wasn't a good fighter. And I would get mad all the time. And if you know anything about fighting, boxers, martial artists, wrestlers,
Discipline.
the first thing they tell you is what?
Control yourself.
Don't get angry.
Right.
Because as soon as you get angry, your technique goes out the window, your emotions get in the way. My son was just doing homework tonight. You know, he's getting frustrated because now it's 3 rows to add instead of 2. And right away he's crying. Now he's mad. Now he can't even get the simplest stuff done. Son, it's the same stuff. But because he's crying, the emotion is now taking over what the learning was and his technique. Become frustrated, flustered, right? So that's the personal experience I tie in. And I didn't pass my test until I learned, you know what, he's supposed to kick me. We're sparring. Now, how do I get mad? Because I just got slapped in the face. And this was in Okinawa, Japan. And there's no, I don't mean to be racist or anything, but they're short. And their legs are huge. And their feet are like paddles. It hurts. You know? So I had to learn how to use that anger. All right? And that's what we want to do for them. How can you start using that anger in better ways? Okay, just for sake of time, we're moving on. So now we got, oh, and by the way, you just had a question about the extreme.
More extreme case.
Yes.
More extreme, well, again, we can't set a training scenario for everything. So my answer to that question is simply try to reinforce this area in here. Because once you start feeling these things, you're not feeling normal, you got a whole nother stage to go to defuse the situation. Now, remember, in the good and bad wolf story, the good bad wolf is not a punk. The good bad wolf just won't fight until what? Provoked. So we know that there's going to be conflict, right? And then that's when they go into the lessons. What happens if someone hits you? What happens if someone about you? You report it, you tell your parents, you follow the law, you put in a police report, you don't take the law in your hands, yada, yada, yada. But the good wolf is not, just going back to that really quick, the good wolf is not a punk. The good wolf also feels these things too. The good wolf can easily turn to the bad wolf, right? At moment's notice. Yes, ma'am.
I just like to say that I like the word you use, resolution, because oftentimes we tell our children there's consequences.
That's right.
The consequences that they show, they're more or less glorified by going to jail.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay,
Let me just put some
I
more.
can do the stand on my head. The consequences tend to be glorified, but the resolution ties back to the trigger point.
That's right. That's right. And generally, again, like I said, I keep saying that this normally is that. When you think about someone who violated this, to calm you down is think about her future, your future. Someone did it to your mom, just think about, the future you're going to have with her. When you make it and be successful, you're going to buy her a big, nice house and yada, yada, yada.
Right.
I mean,
and then this here kid, he said that he would hear his mother's voice.
He would hear his mother's voice. Or I see my daughter's face. And we get these illusions, because when you get mad, you start just zoning out. Yes, ma'am.
What about acknowledging the fact, like you were saying, in extreme cases, you're talking about power and control. So acknowledging that they are trying to be more powerful to make you feel powerless and out of control.
Absolutely.
Which then, is feeding them to make them more powerful. You know what I mean? It's a
Absolutely.
very vicious cycle. So if you can acknowledge, you know what, they're just trying to make me powerless.
Yep.
They're just trying
Yep.
to make me out of control. Because
Yep.
like you said with the anger and what happens to you when you get angry. So if they take away your power and you get angry, they win.
Exactly. That's why I just wrote win. You don't want them to win. You don't want them to win. You can't let them win. If you lose, you are going to pay the price. And again, there's one thing that I want to say about males and females. There's a difference. There's a difference in power and how we demonstrate it and flex it, right? So with the guys, I always say, listen, to be the good wolf is actually the most powerful dude. That's the coolest dude to be, because now you can let a brother know, you know what, you just triggered me. But because Mr. Morris or Mr. Corey or Mr. whoever